Hey guys, sorry about the mix-up and everything. Apparently, Massachusetts has decided to run late or earlier. They're still trying to find jurors. I would be willing to be a juror, but I don't live in Massachusetts. So we have some more news, and I can find news. I always pick up a couple of extra cases just in case I run over or under. So we are good, which is good. My careful uh, OCD-ness and scary extra planning has worked out for once. So we are good, at least for once. And I did have a case that I wanted to go over again. So, you know, we can do it twice. We can always do it twice. I'm going to wait for people to move over because I know. Thank you. Thank you. Sorry for the mix up. I did record Mornings with Mo. So if you guys are wanting to do something during the day or you want something in the background, like I said, I thought that the Carla Rintala case was going to start at 8:45, and so I had planned to just record something to go at 9. So there is currently something uploading, and some of the stories might be one of the stories will be a repeat because I think it's hilarious. But the rest of them I will pull up news stories for you guys. I'm just waiting for people to switch over because there was kind of shenanigans with the streams. I canceled the live streams, but I don't think it canceled on Facebook because I forgot to go over there and do that. So I am sorry, you guys. There was all the shenanigans. It was all the things. So, for our first story, because and it was a story on the recorded one, so but I truly enjoyed it. So and look, no shame, honestly. As long as you're not asking me for money to pay off your student loan debt, I am totally fine with it. I do worry about your husband's soul dead eyes, but it is you do you, boo, is all I've got to say. A Democratic Virginia House candidate performed sex acts with husband on webcam for tips. She went full Jack Murphy, y'all. And if you don't know about Jack Murphy, it was an entire internet thing. I think about 8 months ago, 6 or 8 months ago, if you watch Tim Pool at all, Jack Murphy was part of the manosphere. I don't know, he had a beard, kind of like a white stripe here, selling fake masculinity and all sorts of things. Any hoozle, they found out that, he may or may not have written a bunch of articles about him allowing his very much younger fiancée to go out on dates with men that weren't him to go have smexy time. But, apparently this Democratic Virginia House candidate, also was a fan of the Chatterbait. Uh, Democratic candidate for Virginia House of Delegates, so this would be like their, not Senate, their Congress. So, yeah. Well, yeah, Jack Murphy he's a meme at this point, but basically think person who espouses all of the very manly, masculine qualities and then, secretly pegs himself online for money. Yeah, yeah. I look, I don't know, I didn't get that deep into it. I just found it hilarious, again, when someone turns out to be a complete hypocrite. Uh Asking her virtual audience to pitch in with tips. And again, if you're not asking me for money to pay back your student loans and or the government, I say more power to you. I don't care. Uh, the Post has learned Susanna Gibson, a mother of 2 young children, of course she is, uh, who is running in a competitive race to represent District 57 in Richmond, showed quite a bit more skin on the adult streaming website Chatterbait, according to screenshots of archived material reviewed by the Post. The 40 I don't this is on Brave, I shouldn't be seeing this. The 40-year-old nurse practitioner hosted more than a dozen of the live romps with her husband on the platform, which was then posted to a publicly accessible archive on a website, Reacherbait. I am learning so many new things on the internet. Apparently, there are places where you can record live streams of Chatterbait. Awesome. In September 2022, after she declared her candidacy, the Washington Post first reported, "Oh, wait till you see his soul dead eyes." I God, I hope Fry, they are not gonna play with you. I look, I why? Why would you look, if you wanna make smexy time videos with your husband, spice things up, all the things, more power to you. Also, if you wanna pay off your student loans and not ask me or the government, also more power to you, or fund your campaign, also more power to you. But then don't pull what she's gonna pull here later. The unconventional candidate had more than 5,770 Chatterbait followers whom she repeatedly pressed for more tokens in exchange for certain acts in private showings, adding that she was raising money for a good cause. In other videos, she suggests that she and her husband had tried swapping with different partners as she was ethically non monogamous. She wanted some strange, but her husband doesn't like sharing. Now, this is the wife. Apparently, she is the Committee to Protect Healthcare endorsed stuff. She looks very much like she wouldn't want to speak to your manager, I guess. I don't know. Apparently, she is also listed under hot wife experience. Uh, yeah. Gibson often thanked her viewer after tokens arrived, and her husband, who is a lawyer, in at least one case echo her request. Chatterbait's terms of conditions state requesting or demanding specific acts for tips may result in a ban from the platform for all parties involved. Um, Now, this is the look of a man whose soul has died. She's like, "I'm ethically non-monogamous," and he's like, "My wife likes to bang other dudes, but I'm smiling here because if I don't, I lose the house." I mean, that's just my interpretation, and I'm just a mo on the internet, but I'm also guessing that he's getting a whole lot of shit at his law firm. Yeah, well, I don't know. In a statement to the Washington Post, Gibson called the publicly posted videos an illegal invasion of my privacy designed to humiliate me and my family. Now, I did this on my video, but we're going to go through this again because I think we need to use the mobile whiteboard of truth to explainarate some things to this woman. So I've got to get my purple marker out again because it's the mobile whiteboard of truth. Mo dies trying to use the mobile whiteboard of truth. All right, ma'am. We've did this before, but we're going to redux. This is the internet, okay? The World Wide Web. This is your bedroom with a pillow, okay? And this is your husband. And he's a little sad, okay? Because he doesn't like sharing, all right? And this is you. We could give you boobs just a little bit. All right. And this is all your ethically sharing menses, okay? Because you're ethically sharing. They're all happy. You're going to have little hearts because you're ethical. All right, just little hearts because they're happy little ethical sharing people. All right. Now, typically, no one would know anything from here to here. No one would give two shits. No one would care until one of these ethical menses would go on Tucker. No one would care until you went, no one would know. But see, you decided, I'm going to take a camera. I don't draw very well but you took a camera and we're going to put that right onto the internets, okay? So you took a camera and you took all your ethical and your sad lonely husband and you put this all on the internets. So it wasn't an invasion of your privacy because you took all of this and you put it on a camera and you put tokens and monies and you took monies and then you put it on the internet. So it's not an invasion of your privacy. My name is Mo, and this has been my TED Talk and the Whiteboard of Truth. I'm gonna need someone to. I mean, am I wrong or am it is not? I mean, now if someone had been a peeping in your room, like through the window, weird stalkery style, creepo style, and had night vision goggles, and then filmed you with your, ethical sexual partners, then yes, that would be an invasion of your privacy. But since you done uploaded it to Chatterbait, I don't think that it's, yeah, but I nearly died getting the whatever color that was, the red one. So, yeah, it's not an invasion of your privacy. You put all of this online. It's it's not like someone, fished and found your super secret file of super smexy stuff hidden in the back of your gun safe that Liberty, told the feds about. It won't intimidate me and it won't silence me, Gibson said. My political opponents and their Republican allies have proven they're willing to commit a sex crime to attack me and my family because there's no line they won't cross to silence women when they speak up. Ma'am, you is dumb as hell. As a fellow uterus haver and boob haver, and as a woman whose husband doesn't look like his soul has fallen out of his body because I'm not ethically non-monogamous. Possibly, possibly, sweetheart, come he you done put your weird smexiness all over the damned internet. They're not going after you because you're a woman that's speaking up. You done handed them opposition research for tokens on Chatterbait. I cannot with you. The candidate's attorney, Daniel P. Watkins, told the outlet that the archived videos violated Virginia's revenge porn law, which makes it a class 1 misdemeanor to maliciously circulate sexual images or another person's nudity with intent to coerce, harass, or intimidate. Good morning, Sal, Kim, it's me, Josie. Anonymous called. Yeah, she's definitely a victim of her own uploads. Y'all, spare me. I am tired of look, again, as a woman, I feel like I can call this out better than a dude can, but you made a poor life choice, or you made a life choice that you felt empowered, like, "I'm sexually free, and I'm, a hot wife, and I'm gonna go be ethically non-monogamous and, whatever." And you felt powerful in that moment and you did whatever you did and you justified it, and now that it's coming back to bite you in the ass, you're a victim. Well, men don't get that kind of like, "Oh, well, I felt really cool when I was sending D pics and I thought I was really awesome." But, you know, looking back on it, I mean, the fact that you posted those very small D pics, I'm a victim now. Men don't get to do that. I'm really tired of women doing this. Again, especially women that look like they're gonna ask their manager, why there isn't soy milk, with, their matcha tea directly after, every day. I'm tired of it. You did something, stop using, victimhood to cover it up. Put your big girl panties on or your thong, or if you go commando, just pull up your leggings. You did something, it didn't really work out for you, and deal with it. I'm tired of it. The lawyer cited Virginia's appeals court in 2021 that made it illegal for a man to secretly record his girlfriend during consensual smexy time, even though the video was never shared with others. We are working closely with the state and federal law enforcement. Ma'am, you look like you need a bagel, like a really, you need some carbs, okay? So these children are now going to go to look, it's the same thing like when Kim Kardashian again, do whatever you want in your own life, but when Kim Kardashian called Kanye West, and I don't watch the Kardashian, but there was a clip where one of the kids realized that there was that sex tape with Kim Kardashian, and Kim was crying because they found out. Look, your past is eventually gonna come out, and you can either use it with your kids to say, "Look, mommy, you know, made some choices that I hope you don't make," or you can say, "I was a victim of the system, and it's terrible." Just own up to it, say you made some bad choices or you and daddy are swingers and, I don't know. You'll have to figure out how to tell these poor innocent children that you destroyed their father. 'Cause he's gonna be drinking Bud Light for the rest of his life. I'm surprised they have your house isn't stocked with Bud Light from all of his friends, you know, giving them all to them, just having it show up everywhere, but so that is the story of yeah, I have heard stories that apparently the mom was involved. Look, I don't like the Kardashians, but if so, the mom involved with shuttling all that over. The whole family's a train wreck. But there you have it. Virginia, uh, political hopeful has gone full Jack Murphy, which is great, I guess. Gross, just gross. We have and let's see, in pop culture news, we have a pyramid scheme and communism and flag burning, which, as you do. As you do, you have all those things. Communists, who burned US flag outside Jason Aldean concert, branded as a cult pyramid scheme by left-wing activists. You know it's bad when even, like, left-wing activist groups don't wanna claim you. I still say that this, Japanese man who dresses up, "Sir, you are a furry, and I know that bad things happen in that suit." That that is, I'm just saying, don't run a black light over that suit. Bad things would show up. A communist group that burned American flags outside a Jason Aldean concert in Chicago. Okay, I'm just going to point out to you that trying to prove a point that you can try this in a small town when going to Chicago, it's not exactly a small town, nor is it look, I have no dog in this fight other than I really don't like multi-level marketing schemes. I don't really like communism, and if Jason Aldean really wrote that song, I'll eat my hat, but okay. Uh, the communist group that burned American flags outside a Jason Aldean concert in Chicago Saturday night has previously branded a cult and pyramid scheme by scores of left wing organizations and activists. The Revolutionary Communist Party, known as RevCom, was denounced by 23 grassroots abortion rights and feminist groups in a scathing 2022. I know. It's almost like I don't like things that have killed scores of people. It's just weird. I Yeah, the dog suit guy, you know, it it's a fetish. Come on, just say you're a furry. It'll be okay. Like, "I wanna be a dog." No, you wanna be a furry. Okay, sir, we get it. Uh, in a 2022 letter pleading with activists to avoid the organization during protests following the overturning of Roe v. Wade, RevCom and its friends, Rise Up and Refuse Fascism, are notorious for raising tens of thousands of dollars and using those funds to pay RevCom leadership. Um, aren't all for-profit charities of that sort kind of like that? I mean, not to get super political, but I mean, haven't many charities that have raised a lot of money here of late and of note, haven't they sort of gotten a lot of their leaders big mansions and not so much anything for those small groups that seem to have gotten them a lot of money? I mean, it does seem like on both sides. I mean, you've got the NRA who seems to have, raised a lot of money to do jack squat crap on anything. And then you've got BLM who seems to have gotten a lot of houses to do stuff. Yeah, so basically what this is saying is that this particular group right here has been known to raise a lot of money. However, the money never really goes to the branches as it's supposed to, but the money tends to get allocated to the top leadership. However, I'm having a hard time seeing how that's any different from any sort of, I call them for-profit charities that I've heard of here lately. So, let's continue. Uh, so the group and its offshoots essentially function as a pyramid scheme that prey on social movements. It continued, saying the group's only goal appeared to be gaining more followers in order to raise more and more money. Again, I'm not seeing a disconnect between that and other social movements, but the letter levied criticism that dogged RevCom for years, accusing it of being a cult of personality. Yeah, that's I mean, it sounds like movements on both sides, really. Insert name here. Uh, 80-year-old new communist writer, Bob Avakian. While RevCom fervently denies accusations of being a cult, RevCom's own website claims the only effective way to achieve social change is to follow Avakian's leadership and teaching. Well, you might be a cult. Yeah, this dude looks like a cult leader, allegedly. Bob Avakian is the architect of a whole new framework of human emancipation and a new synthesis of communism, which is popularly referred to as New Communism. Oh, hell no. No, this is a cult. Yeah, I'm not liking this. But honestly, there's no way. Let's see what new news is out there. Oddities are always good. I kind of used all of my uh, interesting news, but I do have some other things going because I did. Aha. Oregon man walks into FBI office and confesses to ice-blooded 1979 murder of Boston woman. Because yeah, it honestly, it makes no very most of these companies, if you research any of these, uh, you know, oh gosh, charities and anything else, really pay attention when you donate to see how much of the actual money that you donate goes to the charity that you look at. That's why a lot of times I'll donate to the Salvation Army instead of Goodwill, because a lot of their stuff actually goes to the people that it needs to, rather than the chairperson of Goodwill. I know Goodwill does some good things, but they also are a for-profit company, which I don't mind because capitalism and whatever, but still. I would much rather, if I'm going to donate big pieces like furniture and bedding, send it to Salvation Army because they'll pick it up and they do really good things in the inner city and communities. So, I like their mission, I've talked to their people, and I like it, and I know that they use efficient funds that they're given, but a lot of times these, nonprofits have their CEOs, the inefficiencies will just drive you nuts, and the way they spend their money on schmoozing and getting it's ridiculous. An Oregon man recently walked into the FBI field office and confessed to fatally bashing a Boston woman over the head with a hammer nearly 44 years ago, prosecutors said Monday. John Michael Immer, 69, allegedly confessed to the ice-blooded 1979 murder and rape of a Pennsylvania native, Susan Martian Rose, who he met at a Boston skating rink, the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office said. Originally, another man suspected of the violent crime was charged, but he was acquitted during a trial in June 1981. Ermer strolled into the Portland FBI field office last month and told the agents he met a woman with red hair at a skating rink around Halloween, at the DA's office said. The pair walked into a home on Beacon Street, which was under renovation at the time, before he grabbed a hammer and struck her in the head, the DA's office said. He then allegedly raped her. Yeah, it's really like the Wounded Warrior Project is not the greatest. But that's why I tend to do, more local things to our church just because I know where things go. But that's me donating to a charity of any kind, at least something goes to stuff. But that's just me. He fled to New York the next day. Investigators said that Rose, a redhead, was a victim found bludgeoned at the Beacon Street home a day before Halloween, prosecutors said. She suffered fractures to the skull and cuts to the brain. Immer's DNA matched samples preserved from the murder scene, Suffolk County DA said. During his Monday arraignment, Immer mostly hid behind a wall in court. Oh, he didn't have a box fort? Good morning, Mimsy. CBS Boston reported he was remanded without bail on charges of murder and aggravated rape. Immer allegedly told FBI agents in Oregon he wanted to confess to several murders, prosecutors said in the court. He also confessed to killing another person in the South. The case is still being probed, Assistant District Attorney John Vimmer said in court. Immer was convicted in the 1983 robbery and murder of a drug dealer in San Francisco, the paper reported. He spent nearly 30 years in prison for that killing, Verner said. Nearly 44 years after losing her in such a young age, family and friends of Susan Marcia Rose will finally have some answers, Suffolk County District Attorney Kevin Hayden said in a statement. This was a brutal ice-blooded murder made worse by the fact that a person was charged and tried, and fortunately found not guilty, while the real murderer remained silent until now. I mean, could you maybe because redheads are special, even fake redheads like me. We're special. I don't know. Uh, but that's so scary that someone else was charged, nearly convicted, and possibly would have gotten convicted before DNA became a thing because, they had a time, they had a place, and they didn't have DNA back then. If they could have convicted this person, they probably would've, if they could've. No matter how cold a case gets, it can be resolved. It's always answers that are important to those who have lived with grief and lost and so many agonizing questions. So, hopefully they find the person in the South, uh, that he murdered, and they'll get answers for that family because honestly, that's probably the worst thing, and that's why I really hope that, like, I was going into, yesterday with the BTK killer, that hopefully they have found at least some evidence to share. I know his daughter going back to being around him is probably the most awful thing that, she could imagine having to deal with that trauma again, being around her dad, kind of dealing with that dichotomy of knowing her dad is both a killer and her father and having that thrown in her face. But if they could get, you know, some some peace for that family, I really hope that they are able to do that because I I know in my I definitely think that Dennis Rader has more than the victims that they have ascribed to him. I definitely think that, uh, the Oteros weren't his first victims. I just think that that was way too much of an organized crime, way too much of a high risk, full family thing, and I think he bungled his way through most of his crimes. But I do think that to start out with, a full family, that's a pretty good thing. Yuck. Alright, escaped killer Danilo Cavalante shot at by Pennsylvania homeowner after stealing a rifle. So this man has been gone for days now, and I was assuming they would find him in like 6.2 seconds. I really did think that they were going to find him because most of the time they find, escaped convicts in like what, 2 days? And then we're definitely gonna click on Dog the Bounty Hunter is going to start. If Dog the Bounty Hunter finds this man, please get it on camera because I want to see him, taking him down and then offering him a cigarette and talking about Jesus. Because you know that's how it all ends. They're like, "We're gonna take him down." They pray, and then they tackle him. He's got, like, his arm, like, dangling, it's, like, broken, and he's like, "Hey, you want a cigarette? And we're gonna talk about Jesus." You know, I love Dog the Bounty Hunter. I love Beth. Look, when you are a busty woman who may be a little bit tawdry and a little bit a little bit white trashy, let's be honest, Beth was awesome. You you know, entire wallet, cell phone, Glock, everything stuck right in there in them double Ghiblies right there, and I loved it. You knew they had foxes howling at the moon on velvet in their house somewhere. It was amazing. I'm so mean. You knew they had every swap meet velvet painting in their entire house. Such an ass. I'm going straight to hell. She's in heaven right now. I think he's married to someone that looks just like her too, because that's what men do when they get to that age. They've forgotten how to do laundry. They marry a look-alike. Prove me wrong. Convicted murderer who busted out of a Pennsylvania prison last month allegedly broke into a house Monday night and was shot at 7 times by the owner after stealing a rifle, according to a report. State police warned that Danilo Calavente may now be armed after he reportedly ran off with a 22 caliber rifle he snatched from a home, according to Fox 29 Philadelphia. Calavente was spotted at East Natmill Natamil. Look, y'all, we need to make things easy for Mo to say. Township, where the homeowner fired at someone matching his description, Action News reported. The man fitting the convict's profile fled, and it's unclear if he was hit, as no blood was found on the scene, according to the local ABC station. Homeowner, you need to go back to the range, and we need to work on moving targets. Okay. And I'm saying this as someone who needs to also go to the range and work on moving targets. So I'm just saying this as someone who also would need to go to the range. And also parkour, I'm just I mean, that takes dedication and ab strength. I'm over here. Yeah, I wouldn't be able to do that. Hundreds of police, including SWAT officers and armored trucks, flooded the neighborhood after a helicopter caught a glimpse of the dangerous escapee in southern Coventry Township. Yeah, he definitely parkoured his way the hell out of prison and looked directly into what is it with convicts looking directly into Ring cameras? Gareth Pursehouse. If you see a Ring camera, could you at least do one of these deals? I mean, y'all, for the love of Cheetos. Investigators who searched the location of the confirmed sighting found shoes they believed might have belonged to Calavente, according to local report. Pennsylvania State Police ordered residents of South Coventry, West Vincent, East Natmeal townships to shelter in place through a reverse 911 call. The state police warned that the murderer was possibly armed and asked locals to lock their doors, windows, secure their vehicles, and remain indoors in the emergency alert. The 5-foot-tall killer escaped from prison August 31st. Authorities advised residents not to approach the unpredictable criminal and to call 911 if they saw him. Calavente, 34, may have been able to steal a .22 rifle from the owner's home before he was possibly shot. He escaped from prison the 31st, just 1 week after he was handed a life sentence for fatally stabbing his ex-girlfriend. He made the daring escape by crab walking up a wall and running across the prison roof to freedom. Has he been playing Assassin's Creed? Do we have Assassin's Creed in prison? Asking for a friend. On Sunday, police released new images of Cavalente, where he appeared to change his appearance by shaving off his beard and switching clothes. I mean, he's a wee guy. He's fat. Where is Sarah Boone with a damn suitcase when you need her? He is 5 foot nothing. Get Sarah Boone with a Samsonite up here stat. And come on down, Dog the Bounty Hunter. Come on. 2023, I need this. I'm just saying, I need Dog the Bounty Hunter to come find this man, 2023. You've been kind of a mixed bag of a year, but I need this. Your Mo needs this. Dog the Bounty Hunter may join search for escaped killer Danilo Calavente, report. Dog the Bounty Hunter is weighing joining the manhunt for fugitive killer Danilo Calavente, who has eluded law enforcement ever since he escaped from a Pennsylvania prison nearly 2 weeks ago. While Dog has followed Calavente's case ever since he crab walked between two walls to flee jail, he only recently began making calls to law enforcement sources in Pennsylvania. Oh my God, can you imagine that call? Like, hello, who is this? This is the police from Pennsylvania. This is Dog. I'll be there. I need a pack of Pall Malls, some Spam. We need 5 tasers. Your biggest guys with mullets. Gonna need a van with a woman, Valkyrie, riding the Pegasus and, loudspeakers playing REO Speedwagon and possibly a smoke machine. We're done. I mean, that's what I imagine the phone call went like. I'm wildly speculating now, but that's what I imagine the phone call was like, possibly. He might have said woman, Valkyrie riding dragon. It could not have been a Pegasus. Uh, Dog, whose real name is Dwayne Chapman, will likely only join the manhunt in Chester County if he can piece together an action plan to locate the wanted murderer, the sources added. He's only 70, nearly 70 years old. The 68-year-old has been slow to jump in on new cases following the outrage he provoked in his high-profile hunt for Gabby Petito and Brian Landry. Pennsylvania State Police warned Tuesday that Calaventi, 34, may be armed with or after he allegedly stole a .22 caliber rifle from a home as the homeowner shot the fugitive 7 times during the brazen theft. And I'm gonna need 5 shirts, cut off the sleeves. The gun show helps. It's unclear whether the man who fit the killer's description was hit, as no blood was found at the scene. Hundreds of police, including SWAT officers, so we kind of know the story. But again, if Dog the Bounty Hunter doesn't work, can we get Sarah Boone, who is doing nothing right now, a box of wine and a Samsonite up there? I mean, he's 5 foot. I think we can do it. Also, look, as a fluffy person myself, have we thought about, possibly cardio and strength training for our dearly, beloved SWAT teams? 'Cause, just saying. Again, criminals do not look directly at the Ring doorbells. Just a thought. Just a thought. Yeah, I have them once in a while. They are interesting. I don't know why I have them. Goodness gracious. Just all the weirdness. All the weirdness today. Uh-huh. And last but not least, Indiana for the win. An unpaid $3 parking fee core uh, of federal civil rights lawsuit Indiana University quietly settled. Indiana, bastion of civil rights. How could a $3 parking fee land a Big Ten university in federal court charged with civil rights violations? Well, because we're Indiana, and of course we could. And it's a university. Everything's a civil right. Have you been to a university college campus? I'm sure it's a Tuesday. It's a day that ends in Y. Something's a civil right. And go. An Indiana University graduate student's story illustrates how Moses Barrow Jr., who is African American, said he was tracked down by campus police officer who grabbed him by the arm, onto a car, handcuffed and arrested him in September 2022. The arrest happened after he left the Student Recreation Center's campus parking lot without paying a parking fee and drove home to his apartment. The police located him there and, after some discussion and a tussle, took him to jail, not for the parking debt, but for other unknown charges that were never filed. Barrow lodged a federal complaint in the U.S. District Court on June 9th, alleging that the officers were guilty of several civil rights violations against him, including unreasonable search and seizure, use of excessive force, false arrest, and assault. Well, you'd be closer to me, and that's about the only positive. That's really the only positive. Well, and Kaiser Pineapple. You would be closer to me and Kaiser Pineapple, and we have a lot of outlet malls. Yeah, no, it really doesn't. But it's a catchy headline. That's how they hook you. Defendants were Indiana University, the IU Board of Trustees, IUPD officers Austin Mangus and Charlotte Watts. The case was settled out of court September 5th since participants agreed not to discuss the outcome. Details are scarce. Hey guys, guess what? When your tuition raises about $1,000 each next year, thank this guy because he probably got a settlement. Don't you love our litigious society? Oh, well, possibly that too. And it's difficult to determine if the lawsuit is related to recent unexplained departure of police chief on Indiana University's Bloomington campus. Now, let me paint a picture for you guys of Bloomington. As an Indiana resident, Bloomington is where my pain doctor is. Bloomington is the San Francisco of Indiana. So you will see very nice, ritzy, college-like campus area, so you've got the gentrified sort of all of the hippie coffee area, you know, your smoke shops, your vape shops, your tattoo shops, your, you know, coffee area, your microbrewery and everything else, and your, you know, organic international grocery store for some reason. And then you will see right next to that, on the opposite side of the street, a man with possible no teeth talking to himself and grocery cart. Amongst all of this, you have the, electric scooters that you can rent and the electric bikes. So you have people that might possibly be method acting, on very fast electric torpedoes, driving around possibly unaware of reality, um, along with signs like "Love is love and coexist," and faintly smelling of patchouli. So, you've got all of this going around, and then you have me that is just trying to survive and get through this town without running anyone over, you know, not maliciously, but because they cannot pay attention and obey traffic laws like, you know, "You're a little damn scooter, stay out of the street." But I digress. So apparently their police chief happens to exit mysteriously around this time. Indiana University does not comment on personnel matters, an IU media spokesperson said when asked about Lee's. Indiana University doesn't comment about pending litigation, she responded. Yeah, so this is the new police chief. Now, obviously, if they did do all the things that this lawsuit alleges, they are in the wrong. But since this is, you know, told from the litigant's side, I don't know how innocential he was acting. So there could be other things. Now, could he have had a kind of FU attitude like, hey, so it says more about the lawsuit. A notice of a settlement was on filed in the case on September 5th. On September 1st, 2023, after engaging in good faith settlement negotiations, parties agreed on a settlement in principle to resolve the matter. Here's what the lawsuit alleges happens on September 7th, 2022. Byro, who was employed at IU's Office of Sexual Violence Prevention and Banneker Community Center, left work and had gone to IU's Student Recreation Center to work out. When he left, he and drove to pay both at the exit, the attendant wouldn't take the $5 bill Barrow offered for the $3 parking fee. No cash accepted, just card. The attendant said they could charge the fee to Barrow's Bursar account, but it would be $13.50. Ah, so bureaucracy is stupid. Makes sense. Burrow did not want to pay the extra $10. Vehicles were backing up, so the attendant raised the arm up and let Burrow through, telling him to have someone bring a credit card to pay $3. Burrow drove home and figured the 1350 was charged to his IU account. He didn't know the parking attendant had called the police. It wasn't long before IU officers Austin Magnus and Charlotte Watts were knocking on his doors announcing they were the police. He said he shouted back he couldn't hear them. He was in the shower and unable to answer the door. As they were getting into their patrol car, Watts spotted someone who matched Barrow's description, a tall, young African American man leaving the apartment. They approached, shined a flashlight at him, and asked if he was Moses, and he asked why they were there. Barrow confirmed his name, and he didn't know why they came to his home or needed to know his date of birth. When Magnus asked him to sit down on the curb, Barrow refused, saying he was going to stay where he was. The two men were standing on opposite sides of a hooded car, or the hood on a car parked in the parking lot. Suddenly, Defendant Magnus quickly approached Plaintiff Barrow and grabbed and twisted his arm. Defendant Magnus and Defendant Watts then knocked the plaintiff off balance into the car and put handcuffs on him. Defendant Watts and Defendant Magnus took the plaintiff to jail and booked him in. Lawsuit states Barrow's lawyer, Spencer G. Bang of Anderson, did not return a message or seek comment. So this would be the old police chief, which seems a little bit sus because she is a woman in power. How did this happen? Look, something seems a little bit off in the storytelling, but it seems like the dumbness that would happen at any university anywhere. So again, all that is going to happen is that your tuition is going to go up by several $100s so they could pay this dude a cool bit of cash so he can drop his lawsuit. So I hope everyone is very proud of themselves and all of us peons get to pay more for our kids to go to school, which is awesome. And next time, just can you take cash? I don't ever have cash anymore, but it's always the one time you don't have your card or you don't have cash and they only take the one. Could we just have people just be open to taking cash or card, people? Heck, I'm sure the bums even have cash apps now. I'm just saying. And look, don't come at me for using the word bums. Fine. Otherwise unhomed people. That is what I have for right now. I've kind of pulled those out of my socks. So I hope you guys enjoyed this, but I think something might actually be starting. I think Baker's going to go on, so I might see if I will hop on with him, or I might take Fry for a walk in between rain because he is supposed to uh, be walking at some point. He's going to learn to use his puppy paws. We have to do this. It's going to get done. I swear, we are going to learn to walk. I hope you have enjoyed this, and I also do have a recording that has other stories, except it will have the repeat of the Virginia Democratic hopeful who may or may not allegedly, according to me, have paid her student debt with Chatterbait. I may have headcanon, I don't know. But I hope you guys enjoyed this. I love finding these stories for you guys. I think it's hilarious. It's the newsy news you don't need. I will see you later. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Go over to Baker. I think he's doing an update on Ruby and Judy, I think. Possibly. I may be wrong, I may be right. I will see you guys later. Have a great day. Bye, guys.